Now, Ned 5 shows us Ned beginning his investigations as he meets with Pycelle, and it's revealed to us that King Maekar ruled over a summer that was warmer and just about as long as the current one, lasting 7 years. And Pycelle notes that at this time he was in Old Town, showing us that Pycelle is extremely advanced in his years, as Maekar's rule was roughly nearly 100 years ago. Ned inquires as to the events surrounding the death of Jon Arryn, and it's revealed that a Maester Coleman was treating him before Pycelle sent him away to treat him himself. Now, it's revealed that as he was dying, Arryn whispered to both the king and Lysa that the seed is strong. However, he was given milk of the poppy by Pycelle to subdue him. Now, Pycelle also reveals to us he has been Grand Maester for nearly 40 years at this point. He has served Robert, and also before him, Aerys, Jaehaerys II, and also a few months under Aegon V. And he also reveals to us that Lysa is unreliable and was unstable after having suffered so many stillbirths in her time. Now, Pycelle reveals to us that Grand Maester Aethelmure, who we have seen in previous chapters mentioned, wrote that all men carry murder in their heart, yet even so poisoners are beneath contempt. And it is said that poison is a woman's weapon. Women, cravens, and eunuchs. And also notes that Varys was born a slave in Lys. Now, it's interesting that he brings this up when Ned proposes that Arryn could have been poisoned, as he is clearly trying to throw shade on Varys here, showing where the certain political allegiances lie. And we find that Jon Arryn, before his death, was reading a book by Grand Maester Malleon, which is an account of the historical lineages of the great houses. Now, this is interesting, as this book is written by a Grand Maester, but we come to find in later chapters that the lineages in the book come up as far as Joffrey himself. So does this mean that this man wrote the book before Pycelle became Grand Maester and then people just added to it? Or was there another Grand Maester at some point and Pycelle has lied to us? Now, Pycelle also at this time shows his allegiance to Cersei and basically gives her an alibi at the time of Jon Arryn's death by saying that she and her children were headed to Casterly Rock with Tywin when Jon Arryn died, following the tourney of Joffrey's name day. And we do come to find later on that it is indeed not Cersei who is responsible for poisoning Jon Arryn, although, as Pycelle pointed out, poison is indeed a woman's weapon. We also find note here that ravens bringing messages are often considered a bad omen, as Ned remembers an old Nan tale mentioning dark wings, dark words. And so it can be inferred that this again is pointing us in the direction of messages being brought to us by beings such as the crows are not to be believed, as they are often going to lead us to tragedy. Now, Ned goes to the Godswood in the Red Keep, which, unlike Godswood in the north, does not have any weirwood trees, but in the place of a weirwood they do have an oak, which is interesting because if you look at my theory on the origins of the weirwoods, it does make sense that the weirwoods are in some way connected to oaks in the histories. So having an oak tree in place of the weirwood tree is actually very telling. Now, we find that upon moonrise, Sansa dreams in the Godswood saying that she saw Bran smiling, and it's implied that Arya also had the same dream, which implies to us that somebody is sending them dreams at this point. And one thing that is very interesting about this dream is that they say that he was going to be a knight, which makes me wonder, what exactly is this telling us about Bran's potential future with the weirwoods and the children? Now, Baelish visits Ned at the end of this chapter, and he reveals to us that he knows certain things surrounding Arryn's death and tries to point Ned in the right direction, showing us again that he is manipulating events for his own gain, and Ned is just not seeing that there's actually plots going on right under his nose here, as he reveals to Ned that Jon Arryn's squire was knighted after his death by the king, his name being Sir Hugh of the Vale. And so it's entirely possible that since this occurred after Jon Arryn's death, there was definitely something going on that led to this knighting happening, and this man has also not returned to the Vale with the rest of Lysa's party, implying that something has definitely led to this man choosing his allegiances in the capital. Baelish then also goes on to point out to Ned that there are various spies watching, some of which he points out belong to the Queen and some that belong to Varys, and then gives Ned the advice that if he is planning to investigate stuff, then he should send other people to do the investigating while they are watching him, in order to throw off suspicion or letting on that he knows more than he knows. Now, Ned does not seem to get the fact that Baelish is playing him here, and he doesn't even get the hint when Baelish literally tells him to his face that distrusting him is the wisest thing he's done since he came to the capital. And as we will come to see in later chapters, trusting Baelish was probably Ned's one biggest mistake that he made when he was going against Cersei.